around. Pro Tour Hall of Famer. He's also ranked in the top 10 of the top 25.
Yeah, I'd like to say 8th.
8th, I think, is what it is. And
top 25 ranking, still pretty new.
That's right. In fact, I have it right here. You can also find this on dailymtg.com. Shuhei Nakamura is 8th.
Look at that.
Ding. And you can actually you can go on to dailymtg.com to check out our Magic's new top 25 rankings, and these are pretty cool. We're going to be using these for coverage, and it just helps people keep in perspective who's been winning lately. Who, over the last couple of years, who's put up the best results. This list doesn't necessarily say who the best Magic player is. That's a much harder thing to get into a quantity or a list like this. But it does show you who's been winning, and that's what we're all trying to do out here.
Yeah, everybody just wants to win.
That's right. Shuhei Nakamura, no stranger to winning. He just kind of wins all the time, and here we go. He's going to be now. We're doing a time draft, so it's going to be kind of procedural here, but we should be able to get a chance to see every pick here from Shuhei, and let's get a look at what one of the best players in the world, what he thinks of the relatively new Theros booster draft format here.
I'm excited to see Shuhei's take on this format. He's somebody who I always like to watch in new formats because his card evaluation skills are unmatched.
They really are.
I mean, he is somebody who sees so many angles, has been playing this game so much. He's everywhere all the time.
There he is right there. You can see that Rashad's kind of calling the shot here. Arbor Colossus, it looks like, is what Rashad wants him to have. All right, here he is. He's looking at his opening pack. It's kind of hard to see. That's not the one, Shuhei. Keep going.
There's a Soldier of the Pantheon there.
Yeah.
Pretty decent aggressive card, but not necessarily what you want to be first picking. I don't know if it's the best card, but looking at this pack, I might just take this Soldier of the Pantheon.
Really? I mean, in this format even, it's
a 2-1 for 1 mana. I really want to be aggressive here.
Okay.
I mean, and that's my opinion, and I understand that a lot of people disagree with me. And I think Observant Alseid is definitely a reasonable pick. I would pick one of those 2 cards.
Okay.
Divine Verdict. Oh, I didn't see the Divine Verdict there. I take Divine Verdict, I think.
Right. He is going to take... Oh, he can't decide! Wow, and he takes a Divine Verdict. It looks like
I didn't see the Divine Verdict until the last minute.
It's funny, though, because we noticed there that he was hemming and hawing on the exact same 3 cards that you were talking about there, Jake, because he was... and then he ended up taking the Divine Verdict.
I mean, it was a difficult pick.
It was. I like Divine Verdict a lot in this format now. People have figured out that the huge green and red creatures are really good. He's pulled a Prescient Chimera to the front of the pack almost immediately. There's also an Insatiable Harpy and a Nylea's Emissary that he's considering here. Things that Shuhei is going to be considering, what goes well with white in case he ends up actually being in white, how many other white cards are in this pack, what could he wheel. There's a whole lot that's going through his head. He clearly hasn't narrowed down to these top 3 cards, though, and at this point it's just a matter of
I think I go with the
which one he
Nylea's
thinks
Emissary,
is
to be
best.
honest.
Okay.
Looks like he's going between the other 2, but...
yeah, I think he's going to take the Chimera. He does.
And I like that. I mean...
Chimera's sweet.
I like the green-white deck a lot. I actually... Well, to be honest, I haven't drafted it, but I like it in theory. Yeah. And I think in this spot, after
there's a lot of theory flying around today.
Yeah, after the first picking the Divine Verdict, maybe the Prescient Chimera is a better pick.
Okay, so he's going to take a look here at what he wants to pick next. And I see that he's got a Voyaging Satyr. There's also a Nessian Courser. And is that a Sentry there? Sentry of the Underworld?
That is a Sentry of the Underworld. A pretty strong card.
Focus there.
Voyaging Satyr, probably the best card in the pack, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I definitely don't think I wouldn't put that in as the best card in the pack.
Really?
Yeah,
I think it's very, very, very strong.
Huh. Well, Shuhei thinks Sentry of the Underworld's awesome, and I think you wouldn't disagree with him there.
I wouldn't disagree with him there at all. God's Willing is absurd in this format.
And it looks like a second Prescient Chimera has made its way over. There's also... green looks to be a little open early. It's hard to tell this early in the draft what colors are open, but there's a few things floating around. There's also a God's Willing, which is a coveted trick to have.
Yeah, one of the better tricks in the format. I think the Chimera or the God's Willing are easily the pick here after already having a Chimera.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with Shuhei picking the Chimera here as well because, he doesn't have to be in white. He doesn't know that he's in white. Right now he's in blue.
He just has a Verdict.
Yeah. Let's see what he picks up. This is going to be an important pick here. There's an Acroan horse, which is kind of interesting.
See, right now, he's not really sure where he's at. He doesn't know what his colors are 100%.
Not quite, no.
So I think the horse does go well with a pair of chimeras.
Okay.
It's a really nice card to curve into a chimera because it gives you chump blockers forever. It's really good against the green-red decks that you might struggle with.
Yeah, he's going to take it.
Yep.
One of the most flavorful and interesting design cards in the set, and this is a set that has quite a few highlights as far as that goes.
Yeah, there's lots of flavor in this set, and I appreciate that. I think it's good for the game.
Oh, there's a Thoughtseize.
Yeah, it looks like this, like the blue is really dried up, and I'm sure he's recognizing that also.
Yeah, that Gainsay is not a card that he's that interested in here. Shuhei,
yeah,
no stranger to value, takes the.
I mean, it's also just a strong limited card.
That's
it takes
what I
any
meant.
card. Yeah.
I don't know what you thought I was talking about. All right, he pulled a Coastline Chimera up to the top.
And he's got to be happy with just a Dancing Scimitar. This is such a Shuhei deck. Shuhei with the the 3-color X4, X5 deck.
Just all toughness.
Always blue, white, black. This is, this is basically what Shuhei drafts in every format for the last 3 years.
Anytime he can get away with it. Yeah. All right, let's see what he picks up here. There's 3 blue cards, though. That's a Mnemonic Wall.
Yeah, so it looks like the blue might be actually not be as dry as we previously thought.
Yeah, it could have just been a couple picks. There's a Thassa's Bounty. He likes Mnemonic Wall. You are not kidding, Jake. All toughness all the time.
Yeah, I mean, this is Shuhei's MO. I mean,
this is his jam, huh?
This is what he does.
Is this the pack that he opened? I can't remember if we're quite there yet. Or maybe we've already passed it. There's a Wave Crash Triton, though. And there's another Evangel of Heliod, which he didn't take one yet, but he's seen a couple of them. Yeah, it looks like he's veering hard away from white here.
Yep.
And just sticking with the blue. Going to see where he ends up with his other color. He's got a few options, white, maybe black.
Yeah, he could really go in either direction there.
Yeah.
It seems like white is probably the more open of the 2 colors.
So he's thumbing between an 04 and an 06.
And a 3-7.
He takes the 06.
Yeah.
This is funny. Shields up for Shuhei Nakamura here.
I mean, that's how he plays Magic, and I mean.
And there's a March of the Returned. And he's going to take that. He wants to be able to get card advantage late in the game.
Yes,
grind,
he does.
Grind. There's a Scourge Mark and a very clunky removal spell there, but he took the removal spell.
Yeah, I mean, it's clunky, but sometimes you can sideboard that in. You never know when you play against a deck where, like, they have multiple Centaur Battle Masters. He already passed one of those.
Yeah.
He knows that that's going to be an issue in this draft, and that's a card that you absolutely need to deal with right away.
Yeah.
So against those decks, you get to have that option, and
yeah,
it's pretty huge.
I was talking with Steve Sadin about this, and he brought up an interesting point because somebody said, I think it costs 6 mana to do 3 damage. But he's like, really? You can find a spot for that initial payment of 1 almost every game without it really hurting you. Turn 1. Yeah. You're not.
Yeah, what are you going to do on turn 1?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't ask you that question.
Yeah, I mean, I love one drops in this format.
Yeah. All right, so Shuhei's reviewing his picks here, but the 5 is still not super enticing, but you do what you got to do. All right, so here's a bunch of blue cards at the front for Shuhei, along with that Crowan horse. Guardians of Meletis.
He cannot be happy with where this draft is at right now. He doesn't have anything that's inexpensive. His deck is
kind of clunky,
a little bit all over the place.
Doesn't really have a plan yet.
Yeah, I mean, he has the 2 chimeras, and those are strong blue cards, but he's not really.
Yes.
He doesn't have anything leading him into a color right now. The horse actually works well with his other picks.
Mm-hmm. Horse is interesting. So I like the way he's positioned himself here, though, because honestly, he could go into any other color here, right? Like if he opens up something really sweet, let's see if he does. He could move in. That's Glare of Heresy. And he's got a Daxos of Meletis here. That's a nice card.
That is a very strong card.
Doesn't work super well with what he has, but it's so powerful on its own that you just run it and get value and do good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, something interesting about Daxos that I think gets overlooked sometimes is that it prevents your opponent from ever really attacking with any of their 2-power guys. Even if they have 2 of them, they're not going to attack with either one because they're afraid you're just going to like grip tide or voyages on one of them, and then they're going to get cracked and lose a card and just tons of value.
Yeah, and oftentimes the life that they hit with that 2 just gets erased immediately from his life gain aspect of him. So he's going to take Daxos. That's a nice pickup there. I mean, he's already flirting with being blue-white, and this, can go right into the pile of cards that he has already. So, all right, let's see what he opens up here in this second pick. These are still, this is still where you're very hopeful about getting something awesome. There's a Vaporkin. I love that card.
Yeah, I'm a big Vaporkin fan. And I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to take. It's the best blue card in the pack.
Lightning Strike's in this pack, but he's so far from red at the moment.
Yeah, Lightning Strike does not seem to be the plan for Shuhei at all. I mean, he knows that he's not going to get any red in pack 3. In pack 1, he didn't see a single red card in pack 1. That was beyond like a couple playable Minotaurs that were. And now he's seeing a decent amount of red, but he knows he's only going to get 1 pack of it, and he's just got to ship this to the player on his right, who is likely a pretty happy red mage right now.
Yeah, a lot of those.
He's going to have a choice between a Perforos Emissary and a Lightning Strike.
Yeah.
He's going to take that Lightning Strike, but that's a pretty good place to be regardless.
Yes, it is. All right, there's a Battle-Wise Hoplite, and there's, what is that rare called?
Prophet of Krufix.
Thank you. Prophet of Krufix, which unfortunately is green.
It's very powerful, though.
It certainly can be. It's kind of miserable if it's a card you draw late in the game and just top deck it, and if you get it on turn 5, that card can be explosive.
Yes.
I made the mistake of letting that live against an opponent.
Not usually a good idea.
That was a really bad idea.
Did you attack into it when he had open mana and everything?
He took Battle-Wise Hoplite out of that pack. Continuing the blue-white trend here, though, interestingly, the Battle-Wise Hoplite and Daxos, they both kind of want some tricks, right? Something to kind of...
Something to go with them.
Something to go with them, and that right now he's in a much more defensive stance, though he's got a Triton Tactics there and a Battle-Wise Hoplite. I mean, I think he's going to take the Hoplite, but man, if he could get that Tactics back, he sure would be happy, because the cards he has right now love cards like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, and Tactics is one of the better versions. Any of the 1-mana target 2 creatures have huge upside in decks that have like Battle-Wise Hoplite and Daxos and stuff, and blue just gets Tactics there, and the white one costs 3, which he would also run happily, but those super cheap ones that target 2, especially the red one, those things are really good.
Happily taking an Omen Speaker here. It's still a Voyaging Satyr in this pack. Wow. That's very late for that card.
Is it? I don't.
There are so many mana dumps.
Amazing. Though.
I think that card is extremely amazing. I think you're undervaluing it a lot.
Okay. I accept your opinion.
Thank you.
I just gave Jake a hug here in the booth, so you guys know. It's all love. Omen Speaker, solid. It's fine.
Yeah, he's happy to pick that up. Yeah. I mean, it's exactly what he's looking for in this pack. He was looking to fill out the bottom end of his curve, and he's done that beautifully. Chosen by Heliod, a great card for a deck that has multiple Battle-Wise Hoplite.
Yeah. Any of those cards that cycle, I mean, geez. He can throw a Scry trigger on the stack and even draw the card if he wants it.
Yeah, there are also a lot of creatures in this set that have even power and toughnesses, or oftentimes 1 more power than they have toughness. So a card like Chosen by Heliod often makes your creature into a trump without costing a card at all. So
from chump to trump?
Yeah, from chump to trump.
All right, nothing much for Shuhei here.
He's able to get this Raptor, and he has the Baleful Eidolon, which combos pretty nicely with that. First Strike and Death Touch in this format, a pretty good combination. But we're not sure if he's going to be playing black right now. Either way, that's something that he can play regardless of what his deck looks like, and it's a decent card. 2 power for a striking flyer. Can't really complain with it.
Pick up 7 cards.
That said, would probably prefer not to run it, right?
Probably.
How likely do you think it is that it makes the deck? Wow, here's some really late blue stuff. Sheldock Monster.
Yeah, I don't even know if he wants the Sealock Monster, considering he already has double Chimera, and it is a 5-drop. I mean, he's going to go ahead and take it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I still like it.
Yeah, I mean, the blue-white deck.
Fine.
Well, the blue-white deck, and especially the Esper deck, if he is choosing to play black, the 5-drops are so plentiful. There are way too many of them. Like, you can just kind of never, ever take them, and you still end up with a million of them.
Now, on the other side of that coin, he has so much toughness that he is geared in a lot of ways to make the game go long. And Sealock Monster is a perfectly fine way to put up just a massive threat to clean up the ground game after he's got his, coastline chimeras and his guardians of Miletus and all that stuff, locking down the attacks.
I mean, there's definitely something to be said for.
He wheeled the Aqueous form, yep. So that's nice. Again, you talked about.
I don't think that card's very good in his deck, but
yeah, it might not be. But he does, he might end up angling hard towards, a heroic style deck here, and might make the cut. Late pickup, perfectly happy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's, at least going to be able to sideboard.
Was that another one?
I think so, but at this point, I think he may just be hate drafting them because he doesn't have any Grip Tides or Voyages Ends, and he really only has one Divine Verdict to interact with it.
Okay.
So, I mean, he knows that the people on this right are in red-green and perhaps red-green-blue, because blue seems to be more open in Pack 2 than it was in Pack 1 even.
Yeah. And he takes the 0-4 over the rare.
Of course. I mean, that 0-4 might get played in his deck.
Oh, man, Dreamy, another one? Oh, no, he shipped that one. I didn't see what the other.
Well, I mean, the other card was the Kragma Warcaller.
Oh, yeah, so he doesn't want to face that
That's a pretty good card. You don't want to really be passing that to somebody 14th pick.
Yeah.
Especially when it's the guy who hasn't been passing you any red or black stuff. He's like, whoa, look.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I got this insane card, 14.
All right, so Shuhei's going to
passed me by the 8th best player in the world.
To take a look through his deck and kind of see what he finds. He's pulling the black cards out. I think he's committed to just straight blue-white here. You Azorius fans out there should be happy. And you can see he's sort of roughly curving out his deck here. Let's see what's in there.
Man, he has way too many 5-drops. How did that happen? His deck is coming together really nicely. This curve is filled out. I'm actually surprised that he pulled the Omen Speaker out of there and left the Aqueous Forms in there. But
5 seconds.
I really do like the way his deck is shaping up. I think that Pack 2 was very kind to him.
Pack 2 was sweet.
It gave him exactly what he was looking for to fill out the style of deck that he wanted to be playing in this tournament, or in this draft. So he seems pretty well poised to beat the type of cards that he's been passing to. The major card that could be an issue for him is the Centaur Battlemaster, because he really only has one card that interacts with it at all.
Yeah, he's going to be looking hard for the 3 blue tempo plays, Voyage's End, Griptide, and Sea God's Revenge if he's lucky.
Yeah, but besides that, I mean, that's really the only card that he passed that his deck is going to have particular trouble with.
Okay.
So.
Pick up 14 cards. You have.
All right, let's see what he gets in his 3rd pack. We're watching Shuhei Nakamura, the 8th ranked player in the world, draft. Oh man, it's like your 2 favorite cards right next to each other, Jake.
Yeah, wow, okay.
Favored Hoplite and Ashiok, which...
Yeah,
now, how good is Ashiok on the splash?
Well, I mean, Ashiok is one of the better cards in the set in Limited. It's really, really hard to... But I mean, Favorite Hoplite is one of my favorite uncommons in the set. I mean, in his deck, he doesn't really have enough devotion right now to work with it, and he just goes ahead and takes the Ashiok, and I can completely get behind that. I mean, he's going to be able to splash for it. That's fine. He can pick up a Traveler's Amulet. I think he got one in Pack 1.
Did he?
Yeah, and I mean, it takes over games.
Yes, it does.
It is a completely unfair card.
And it's really funny because that Favorite Hoplite is, at least in this stage, it does not get that much respect. Like, wow, another Daxos here for Shuhei Nakamura.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got to just go ahead and take the Daxos. Yeah. I mean, the Battle-Wise Valor's so good in his deck, though. And I mean, he really was hoping to get a Battle-Wise Valor or 2 in Pack 3.
That
was one of the cards that I'm sure he was looking for going into this pack. But
then he picks up an on-colored gold rare.
Yeah, when you pick up the second copy of your Legend, you kind of just have to go and take it. Now here's going to get past the second Ashiok, and it's just going to be unbelievable.
I think he might have a chance to wheel that Favorite Hoplite. We'll see if he does.
I do not think
I know you don't.
To your left.
If that card is wheeling, then I have a drastically different opinion of this format than just about everybody else. And
Well,
I'm gonna
I think you do in some levels. I mean, you're trying to first pick Voyaging Satyrs, and I'm not.
I have absolutely no problem with that.
Yeah. All right, so there's another Prescient Chimera, but Jake, you've been mentioning it. He's already pretty stacked up at 5.
Yeah, I mean,
is there another option here for him?
Well, I mean, he'd much rather be playing this Chimera than some of the other 5 drops that he's
got a
looking at.
Cetessan Griffin. He can just get that out.
Yeah, he can get that out of there. He can also play it over the Sealock monster. I mean, the Chimera is just like a much stronger card.
I like Sealock Monster.
But it's not
scary.
Prescient Chimera.
11 cards to your left.
Is that fair?
It is definitely not Prescient Chimera. That is a mean-looking owl right there.
I like owls. You know?
11 cards. You have
I think they're kind of creepy.
5 seconds.
All right, let's see what Shuhei gets. Well, nothing really great here.
I mean, the Vanquish the Foul.
Is it a
may
Vanquish
seem-
Foul? Okay.
Yeah, so that's a card that seems a little bit overcosted for how narrow it is.
Yeah.
When people first look at it, but in this format, like I said it earlier, I think the major issue for him right now is giant green monsters. That's
Okay.
what he's worried about beating, and Vanquish the Foul does a great job of beating that. So he's just going to go ahead and take that. I can agree with that pick.
Yep. Yeah, it's pricey.
Love that
It's
art of
sorcery speed.
Elspeth fighting the Hydra too.
Yeah.
Cards. You have 25 seconds.
All right, there's a Shipwreck Singer. Now, if he is going to be splashing black, it's a consideration. He found a Dissolve and was at a Thassa's Bounty as well. Yeah, it was. Looks like he's pulled Dissolve to the front.
I think I'd take Dissolve here. Dissolve is a really good card.
Okay.
It's not quite as strong in draft as it is in sealed, but it's still just a solid card. I think counter magic in this format is pretty strong. Once you start getting into the 5-6 mana range in this format, the cards that come down all affect the board so much and have such a huge. You know, they often require like 2 turns worth of mana investment. These monstrous cards, like that's how much of an effect they have on the game. They're actually worth that.
Right.
So. What is that card there? Oh,
There's a
another Chosen by
Leonin
Heliod.
Snarcaster and a Chosen by Heliod. So he's really looking. It really looks like he's trying to decide between these two because they're both pretty sweet in his deck.
5 seconds.
Yeah, they're fine. I think he might just need the extra 2-drop, so you might take the Snarecaster, but he doesn't really have a lot of things that target. The 2-drop's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean it gets something out of the way so Daxos can get a hit in.
Yeah, oh yeah, it actually combos really well with Daxos,
Yeah.
which he has 2 of, so the Snarecaster's a pretty easy pick, actually. I should have thought more.
Thinking's hard. All right, Horizon Scholar here for Shuhei Nakamura.
It's a smart Griffin there.
It's a very sweet 6-drop. You get to scry 2 when it
Sphinx.
enters the battlefield. Super nice.
One thing I really appreciate about the Sphinx culture from Theros is that beards are really in style right now.
They're super
in the Theros Sphinx
and
community.
there's braids in the beard.
Oh my gosh, they have the most luxurious beards.
They really do.
I just want to get lost in them.
You have 7 cards. You have 15 seconds.
All right, let's see what Shuhei picks up here. Well, is that a Battle-Wise Hoplite?
It is a Battle-Wise Hoplite.
So his third for his deck here.
Yeah, he has a lot of gold blue-white cards in his deck.
You can see him holding that Cavalry Pegasus next to it and saying, well, that is a human, but I think I'd rather just have another human.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
he takes it.
it's an uncommon, and now he has 3 of it, and it's a very strong uncommon.
Very solid card. I don't
And
think
there's-
that Shuhei's maximizing on it by any stretch here. I mean,
Oh no! I mean, he's not really all in on that plan. Oh my
is
goodness!
that a hopeful Eidolon?
Yeah, the fact that he tabled what is, commonly referred to as the best white common in the set by some of the people who I respect the most.
Oh, really?
Is pretty unbelievable.
Oh, okay. I think it's really good. I guess I'd have to see a list of the white commons, but
Yeah.
It's
So
solid. It's
again,
solid.
like, not everybody I've spoken to, but some of the players who and
What?
he tables the Battle-Wise Valor. So.
Sure.
Shuhei in a great spot here.
Yep.
That Battle-Wise Valor is great with his favorite hoplites.
Yes.
Rather his Battle-Wise hoplites, and it even has the word Battle-Wise on it.
so you
I mean,
know it combos.
Yeah, just so that newer players know that the cards work together. They can make their Battle-Wise theme deck.
All right, what does he pick up out of this? A Traveling Philosopher. What is that card in front there? Oh, that's
The Scholar of Athreos.
Athreos, yeah.
So he goes ahead and takes the sandals.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
3 cards. You have 5 seconds.
A lot of his creatures.
Oh,
already
those
have flying.
no. But the sandals work really well with his Daxos,
Oh, okay.
right? And
Yeah, they would. I don't expect them to make the deck.
Probably not.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. Yep.
Pick up 2 cards. You have 5 seconds.
The sandals are also going to be good in a green deck against him,
Uh-huh. He picks up a Thassa's Bounty.
which is pretty good with his mnemonic wall.
Play 1
Yeah.
card.
I'm really curious to see how his build ends up here.
Yeah, I wouldn't
You
be
know?
surprised if he was just blue-white, but if he wants to go ahead and splash an Ashiok,
Yeah.
nobody can really blame him. It's a Planeswalker. It's
Okay, so-
one of the most powerful cards in the set.
So that's one of the options he has. But then also, even if he's just blue-white, he has the option of being blue-white, battle-wise hoplite deck, if you will.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
or he's got 2 1/5s, an 06, an 04, another 04. He can really shields up and try to go longer game and kind of get those prescient chimeras turning sideways.
yeah, I mean that's kind of how Shuhei plays. Like when you play against Shuhei in the early game, Shuhei, you feel like you're on the defensive, and then before you know it, you've stabilized. But by the time you've stabilized, he's stabilizing harder than you are.
Oh,
and
man.
like he's winning in the air.
Well,
like these
that's a really
blue
good
white,
description,
blue
yeah.
black, Esper colored type of decks that have like a lot of 2-drops and then like a glut of 4 and 5 drops with a lot of toughness. Like that's Shuei's bread and butter. So again, like this is what he does. This is what he drafts best. And he's one of the very best at drafting in the world. He's actually just one of the very best Magic players in the world. We see here in the top 25 pro rankings, he's currently ranked 8th, 2008 Player of the Year. He has won 5 Grand Prix before. Remember, these are tournaments where there are, usually well over 1,000 players, and he's won 5 of them.